What do you want to be when you grow up? Seems like an innocent enough question. People have been asking this to little kids for generations. But I think this is a bad question. First of all, it's limiting, right? Because when you start talking about the actual jobs that someone wants to be, you naturally only refer to like the jobs that you can think of and the ones that you think will be around, forever, like doctor, lawyer, businessman, whatever that means. But the truth is there are millions of jobs out there with all sorts of obscure titles and niche sets of responsibilities that it really doesn't present an accurate picture of what the full landscape is for life when a child is grown up. But it's also misguided because it takes what is a deep and fundamental question about life and what brings you joy and pleasure and how you want to spend your days, and it reduces it to some pre-existing job. And the message is that everything you do has to conform to this job that exists already. And so the message is it's less important what's going on inside you, and what's more important is that you shape yourself to the thing that already exists. My final problem, and maybe the biggest problem with this question, is that it implies that the job is sort of the finish line, the goal. And everything leading up to the job is a chore, is something that you have to go through until you get this job that you want to be when you grow up. But in reality, first of all, the job is not the finish line, it's the starting line. And the job itself will become life, right? It'll become what you do every day, right? And it will change because it's not going to be, you might not like that first job or second job or third job. You'll have times where you hate your job and you want to quit, and you'll have times that it feels really rewarding, and you're hoping that the balance of good and reward outweighs the times that are hard. But it's not a finish line. It's not a point of celebration. It's the beginning of something that carries you through long periods of time. But also, when you look at everything as a chore leading up to the job, then there's no investment in the value of the journey itself. And there is nothing more important than this journey you're currently on. This isn't a journey that serves some specific end. It's a journey that is a constant process of your own self-discovery. It's a constant process of you figuring out who you are. Instead of asking young people, what do you want to be when you grow up? Let's start asking, what makes you feel most alive right now? What makes you feel when you do it that you are the most you? That you are fundamentally enjoying yourself and what you're doing at this moment? Now, it's not quite that simple. You're going to have to scratch a little beneath the surface and ask a deeper question. Because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, Mr. Rapp, I enjoy playing basketball, and I'm never going to play in the NBA, so I have to choose a career that isn't playing basketball. But I want you to dig a little deeper into that question. What do you enjoy about playing basketball? Right? Do you enjoy the fact that the game is reduced to certain quantifiable goals that you can achieve, meaning you can win, right? And you can work toward winning? Do you enjoy competition? Do you enjoy working on a specific skill set within yourself, a wicked crossover dribble or whatever it might be, and accomplishing that goal and being able to repeat that over and over again with success? Because you might find a lot of jobs out there that draw on those same basic fundamental feelings that give you joy, that give you a feeling of being alive. Maybe you enjoy playing video games. Maybe you feel most alive when you're playing. Maybe you feel most alive and enjoy doing whatever people do on social media. Maybe you really enjoy being a student. The key is to kind of dig a little deeper and see what it is. Is it the complexity of the game, figuring out, analyzing the situation and figuring out how to achieve your goal? Is it the performance of social media? And is it, what is it about being a student? Is it the material you're studying? Is it the fact that you like doing things well, accomplishing what's set out before you? Getting to know not just the surface level of what you're doing, not just the thing you're engaged in, but the actual underlying motivation, right? The thing about that thing that really gives you joy and pleasure. Getting in touch with that will fundamentally help you realize all the different possible professions out there that might draw on those traits. And that may mean you start in one job and that's not the best fit and you move to another, but you're sort of resting on this comfortable foundation of understanding the parts of life that make you feel most alive, that make you feel most engaged. Moshe had that problem in this week's Parsha when his father-in-law Yitro shows up and he's overwhelmed, inundated with people trying to manage everyone's problems and having lines around the block and just not being able to handle it. And Yitro says, Lo tov, this isn't good. It's actually the only other point in the Torah that the Torah uses the phrase lo tov is when it comes to being alone and not getting married, right? And having a family. That the Torah also judges as lo tov, right? So this is not a good thing that Moshe is doing. And Yitro basically says to Moshe in so many words, you're not doing what you're best at, right? You're not best at managing all the people's problems. You're best at being the Navi that's the closest to Hashem, being the connection between the people and Hashem. Managing the people's problems may fit some job description of leader, but not your job as leader. Your job as leader connects to the core of who you are, and that's being the Navi that's closest to Hashem. So you see, it's really about figuring out what is happening inside you and what is connected. What actions are you doing that connect to that? So what is the good feeling inside you? And what actions do you do that connect to and generate and create that good feeling? That's the thing to work on now. Not what do you want to be when you grow up. All of what you do, right? And all of the goals you have to accomplish and all of the tasks that you have and responsibilities you have. Pay attention to the things that make you feel joy and pleasure, to things that make you feel alive, most yourself. This is who I am. When I do this, I am me in my truest form. And then ask yourself, right, what is it about this thing that makes me feel that way? And that'll start opening up your mind to who you are. When you open yourself up to who you are, there's lots of jobs out there. You can be many things when you grow up, and you inevitably will be. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.